And yet another very lovely evening out there to all of you, my dearest friends. We left off in the book of Zephaniah and the minor prophets. And this is actually a pretty big day, a sudden shift in the topics that we have been going over for the past, I don't know how many months. Whenever we first really began with the prophets, and 99% has all been pre-exilic, meaning before the Babylonian captivity. So we have just been spending month after month after month focused on what all these prophets, they were warning them. You're about to go into captivity by the Assyrians and eventually by Nebuchadnezzar. But now we come to Haggai. And these final three minor prophets right here, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi, are post-exilic, meaning after the Babylonian captivity. And Haggai is the very first prophet sent unto the new generation, if you will. But first, let's just catch up to this point. Jeremiah and Ezekiel are basically the final prophets sent unto the Jews before they're taken captive by Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. All of Jerusalem would be destroyed, including Solomon's temple. And as we all know, during their time, the book of Daniel tells us about what happens during the captivity. And we know about Nebuchadnezzar's dream and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And all of these things happen. But also during that time, there are two other nations, Media and Persia, and they are making an alliance to come against Babylon. So they began to go to war against Babylon, eventually culminating in the night of the writing on the wall, in which you can read about in Daniel 5. One of the greatest and most beloved kings ever, Cyrus the Great, he was ruling over Persia at that time, and the Medes had a king over them, and his name was Darius, not to be confused with the Darius the First or Darius the Great, in whom would marry the daughter of King Cyrus. But these two nations would defeat Babylon the night of the writing on the wall, leaving Cyrus, the king of Persia, ruler over the mightiest kingdom in the world. To which we come to in Ezra 1, where it says this, Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia. Now the Jews are still in captivity. The Israelites are still in captivity right now in Babylon. But Cyrus is the new king over them. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. And with such an edict are the Jews released from Babylon. So the 70-year Babylonian captivity has completed. The Jews begin to make their way back to Jerusalem. It's about 520 miles straight, but it's 900 miles in the circuitous route, and to which that they would have taken. This would have taken many months in order. It's quite the arduous journey back, but the Lord was protecting them. And whenever they arrived back in Israel, many of them born in Babylon, most of these, which arrived, had never been to Israel at all. So it would have been quite the barren land, quite the discouraging sight to just see rubble. And then we come to Ezra chapter 4. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, and these adversaries spoken of would have been those from north of Jerusalem, namely the Samaritans, which we hear so much more about in the New Testament. a very despised mixed race of the old Israelite tribes and the Gentiles and the heathens, the pagans, and these would have given them such a hard time. But these Samaritans, they come down and they say, hey, let us help you build the temple. We serve God, and we have an altar built unto him as well. So let us help you build this temple unto him. And the Jews say, no, we'll build it. It's for us to build. And so the Samaritans, they get angry and they write a letter unto Cyrus's son. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purposes all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Not the Darius the Mede, but Darius, the son-in-law of Cyrus. Though King Cyrus still favored the Jews, yet he was then diverted by his wars, and his son Cambyses was left his viceroy in his stead, and Cambyses, he hated the Jews. And it is him in whom these Samaritans wrote these letters to and said, now wait a minute, the Jews are trying to rebuild their nation, and whenever they rebuild, they're going to rebel against Persia. So Cambyses says, well, stop their rebuilding. Now Cyrus is still alive at this time, but he is away at war. So his son, after only 2 years of them being back into the land, them already having laid the foundation of the temple and had gotten quite a bit built, he says, nope, stop building. And then 14 years go by. Cambyses dies 7 years into his succession of Cyrus's throne. Cambyses dies. They still can't build because of the edict. A famine comes up in the land because the Lord is angry with them for not rebuilding. And the brother of Cambyses, the younger brother of Cambyses, takes over. He only reigns for just a few months. And then Darius the Great rises up, unto which we see Haggai step in at this point, which is where we pick up with verse 1. In the 2nd year of Darius the king, the 2nd year, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, now before we go any further, let's just catch up. Who is Zerubbabel? We're told how Zerubbabel is the son of Shealtiel, and Shealtiel was the son of Jeconiah, who was king of Judah. Who only reigned for a very short time until he was taken into captivity, leading to the final king of the Jews. Even to this day, the final king of the Jews until Christ takes the seat of David, Zedekiah. So here is the grandson of Jeconiah. He's an ancestor of Christ. His name is Zerubbabel, part of the family of David, whom exercised the post of a governor, not king, among the people, but not over them, for both he and they were under the Persian government. But who is this Joshua, the son of Josedek? Once again, this Joshua, the high priest, his father was Josedek, whom was the son of Seraiah, who was high priest in the time of Zedekiah, the final king before the captivity, and was carried, he himself was carried into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar. And Seraiah was slain at Riblah by order of Nebuchadnezzar. And here we see his grandson, Joshua, now the high priest. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, what is being said right here is the people, because they had taken this 14-year reprieve, they said, well, the time has not come. The 70 years must not be completed at this time. whenever it already had been. And this is the problem that the Lord has against them. He says, you build your own houses, but you're neglecting mine, whom freed you from captivity. Verse 4, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Oh, so it's time for you to rebuild your houses, but neglect the house of the Lord. Now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. He says, have you not wondered why you're not prospering in this land like you were promised? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood, and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it, or blew it away. Why, saith the Lord of hosts? Because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. And I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God. Isn't that something? We have just went over months and months of constant hearing about, before the Babylonian captivity, about how disobedient, how rebellious, how they refused to obey the voice of the Lord. And now we're seeing a totally different attitude coming from this new generation of people. This is so heartwarming to just read about. With all the remnant of the people obeyed the voice of the Lord their God, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God had sent him, and the people did fear before the Lord. Then spake Haggai the Lord's messenger, and the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people, and they came and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God. In the 24th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king. Now this date is important because it's telling us about how soon that they got started with the work after the prophet began to prophesy. Unlike the days of Jeremiah and Ezekiel and all of these, we see obedience among the people, and therefore there's not this constant repetition of prophecy because the people immediately obeyed. This is such a refreshing read. I was just saying to myself while I was studying this, the note of time in this verse seems designed to show how prompt the response was to the prophet's call. Only 23 days had sufficed to make all necessary preparations and summon workmen from all the neighborhood to resume the work. 23 days.